Well, welcome back. This is Mr. Tom here with another video for you. This week we are going to talk about bioluminescence. So, bioluminescence means you are something that alive, an animal that's alive that actually lights up. And I'm sure you've seen some of those animals before. We'll actually talk about those. They're really common in the summer evenings. But I'm going to show you a few examples of animals that light up. Alright, you may have heard of these guys before. This is called an anglerfish. Now they live in very, very deep water. They live in deep oceans. So deep that it hardly gets any sunlight. It's almost completely dark. So if you are a fish and get around in the dark or maybe see something in the dark, it's actually a nice advantage if you have something that glows. So the anglerfish actually has little tiny, they're called bacteria, that live inside this right here. This is like the lure. It's kind of on, where the nose would be. And what those bacteria do is they actually light up, and the fish uses this. It's kind of like a fishing lure. It weighs it around. It's actually trying to attract smaller fish. So when the little fish see it, they think, oh, maybe that's something I can eat. But instead, they meet a bigger fish, and the bigger fish eats that one. But this is a type of animal that bioluminesces. And let me show you another one. Now, I'm sure you've all seen these before. Might have gone out catching them yourself this summer. Fireflies. So this is a type of insect. It's actually a beetle. So we say firefly, but they're not actually flies. They're beetles. Beetles have these kind of hard outer wings here, and then these thin wings here. But they glow in the dark. Now what's cool about these is they're nocturnal. That means they're active at night. If you're nocturnal, you're active at night. Okay, so that's why we see them right around sunset time and even later into the night. Sometimes we'll see them early in the morning, maybe just before sunrise, but most of the time we see them right around sunset and just after. Okay, and then let me show you what I was able to collect last night. These are fireflies I went out and caught. And see, you can see a couple right here. So I tried to get a video of them actually flashing, glowing, but they didn't quite do that. I put them in a dark room, and there was just a little bit of a glow. I wanted to, I guess, make them think it was nighttime, but it just wasn't strong enough to pick up on the video, so I wasn't able to catch that. But what you can do is you can go out on a clear summer evening, right around sunset, if you can stay up that late. I know it's late in summer, but if you can do that, then what you can do is you can actually catch them in a jar. And if you want to keep them for a little bit, maybe you want to just observe them for a while, watch them, they're pretty cool to watch, or you want to show your friends or your parents the next day. You can keep them in a jar. I would make sure you put in some leaves. I've got a little stick in here. I've also got a flower. See right there? And so fireflies actually eat pollen and nectar. Those come from flowers. Okay? They like that sweet, almost kind of like sugar water. And so what I did actually was I added a couple bits of sponge. What I did was I soaked them in a sugar water solution. Okay, so I mixed some sugar and water, and I soaked the sponge in it. Okay, so it's pretty cool. Now for our craft, I'm going to show you how you can make your own firefly. Okay, let's see what we have here. I've got a bit of a craft stick. Okay, so this is the rest of it. I just broke off a piece. This is going to be the body of our firefly. So I'm just going to set that here. Okay, and then I also took some construction paper and I cut out little wings. These are the little wings that we're going to use. And if you've ever gone out catching fireflies and looked closely, you might have noticed that a lot of them have heads that look kind of like an orangish or red color. So I'm just going to use a little bit of red construction paper. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to glue these pieces on. So I've got some school glue here. I'm going to go ahead and glue these right on there. All right. There we go. Let's let that dry a bit. Okay. Now, actually, what I'm going to do before I put on the wings, I'm going to go ahead and use a Sharpie. You can use black construction paper if you want. Really, you can use any color. But most of the ones I see have black bodies, like the ones I went out and caught last night. So I'm just going to use a Sharpie. Color it in. Okay. A little delicate here, see, just like that. All right, now I'm going to glue my wings on. Okay. Part's a little delicate here. Now, it doesn't take a whole lot of space. Doesn't take much glue. So see how, you see where I glued the end of that wing on there? Kind of met in the middle here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the wing that goes on the other side. Okay. And if the wings overlap in the middle just a little bit, that's okay. It's not a problem. Now, I'm going to let this dry. It won't take very long for it to dry. Now the fun part is I have glow-in-the-dark paint. Now if you don't have this, that's okay. You can look for little glow-in-the-dark stickers. In fact, I remember when I was little, my parents, because I liked space, my parents would get me, they were like little stars. Well, they were stickers that looked like little glowing dots. You could put them on the ceiling and the walls. So that way at night, they look like stars. So I'm just going to use a dab of the glow-in-the-dark paint. Okay, and we're going to stick it on the end because remember, fireflies, when they glow, it looks like they're glowing from the ends, right? That's where those special bits of light come from. Now, I'm just going to let this dry for a bit. All right, well, I am in our astronomy room in the discovery room here. See, it's nice and dark in here. Now, I just wanted to show you that I taped a bamboo skewer onto here. You can use any kind of tape you want, of course. You can use a coffee stirrer, you can use a straw, anything that you can hold on to that you can tape the end to. Now, I'm going to go to a dark corner of our room and let's see what happens. So it's a little hard to catch on video, but you can actually see that there is a bit of glow. Now, to me, looking at it when I go in here, it is really glowing. It just doesn't really pick up that quite well in the video, but it does work. This is a fun little project, fun, simple little project. Again, if you don't have glow-in-the-dark paint, that's okay. There are glow-in-the-dark stickers, or maybe you have other little things that glow in the dark. Maybe you even have glow-in-the-dark beads. I know you can get those in little craft stores. You can glue those onto the ends here. But yeah, it's a pretty fun little project. And I hope you go out and look for some fireflies. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you again next week.